Hello everyone and welcome to Vlogmas Day 10 here on Making Things with String. My name is Kate and yeah, thank you for joining me on this 10th day of Vlogmas. It's Friday, I've got the day off, and so even though it's only mid-afternoon, Neil and I have just cracked our Advent beer for the day, so we're sharing that a little bit early. So I thought I'd start out with that, and I'm going to be kind of sipping on it as we do the video today. So as you can see from the footage, we have opened a barrel-aged organic dark chocolate stout called Chocolatl. This is by Big Spruce Brewing, which is a organic on-farm craft brewery and hop yard, and I've had some of their other beer before, but not this particular one. And it's got a nice little write-up on the can about the beer. So it says, born in the heart of Mesoamerica, the cacao bean was once believed to be a gift from the god of wisdom, giving you strength both mentally and physically. While we can't guarantee your IQ will increase, nor best anyone at arm wrestling, this barrel-aged dark chocolate stout will awaken your taste buds like no other. Rich and smooth with a deep roast character followed by a gentle warming from the whiskey barrels. It's bold, distinctive, and memorable. So here's the can. Lovely, lovely looking can. And here is my half of the beer. So cheers. Yeah, it's really nice. This is another relatively potent beer. It's got 8% alcohol, which isn't surprising given that it's barrel aged. But yeah, it's very delicious, and yeah, like it quite a lot. So Chocolatl. Next thing that I'll show you is my skein, my mini skein from the Vista Fade Advent Calendar by Hugh Loco. So you can see a nice beautiful pink skein. This colorway for today is called Andalusia, and it's really beautiful. I like it a lot. All right, next up, come here. Had a little visit from Fish here because I've got some things set out around me, and he's finding that quite compelling. He wants to go get into all of it, but you're not going to do that, okay? You're gonna be a good kitty. Yes. All right, so next up, I worked on today's clue for the Holiday Countdown Sal by Modern Folk Embroidery, Evertote, and Roxy Floss Co. So today I decided to add colorway DMC number 21, beautiful little coral pink. And again, today I felt like the stitching was pretty quick, not a whole lot added in today, but we do have additional bits in several of the bands. Oh my god, it is Cat City. Go away. No. So, not a whole lot of like exciting patterns and stuff today, especially after hearts and birds the last 2 days. But we've set up some exciting foundations for the next few days, I think. And I think that we are very near to the bottom of this pattern. So soon, I imagine we'll be moving over and doing another sort of column of bands. So that'll be exciting. I'm sort of, you know, the other day I mentioned how I was questioning some of my color choices. I'm kind of back to just enjoying how this is all coming together and not really worrying that anything's not looking as good as it could. So yeah, it's such a beautiful, beautiful piece coming together nicely. And I'm really pleased that I've been able to keep up with it. I do really think it's just such a manageable amount of stitches each day. So it's great. I'm having time to do this and, you know, work on other things like my turtle. So that's great. All right, so speaking of the turtle, I will insert some footage here of what that's looking like at the end of the day today. I have worked on it already a little bit, but I hope to be able to work on it a little bit more. But I have already got my 2.7 spaces completed, so anything else that I do on top of that is just sort of extra. So that's coming along really well. Yeah, and it's just starting to get filled in. Really cool. I'm kind of color completing. I'm going like left to right, and then just like doing all of the spaces of a given color. But yeah, still having fun with my turtle. So what I want to do now is something a little bit extra today. Part of what I'd like to do throughout this month is go through my stock of fabric and patterns, yarn and knitting patterns, just to kind of get an idea of what I have, to help me figure out what my plans are going to be and kind of create like a bit of a spreadsheet for myself for when I'm looking to start something new, to guide, you know, what I should do. And this will be helpful in my no buy, so that I'm not kind of always looking for new things to buy. I'll be like picking from my existing stash, so I need to chronicle what I have. So I've pulled out all of the different cross stitch fabric that I have, and I'm gonna show it all to you, and yeah, kind of make a list. So the first thing that I have here on the top of my pile is a quarter of 32 count Belfast linen in natural. Yep, still in its little baggie. I'm not entirely sure what I will be using this for yet, although I purchased it with the intention of stitching Ragnarok by Long Dog Samplers on it, and I will see if I can do that or not, although based on the measurements of this fabric, it's still not quite enough to stitch it 2/2, which I kind of wanted to do. So I could stitch it 1/1 on this fabric. We'll see. But yes, that's my first piece of fabric, a little Belfast linen in natural from Zweigart. The next thing I have is another quarter of Zweigart fabric. This time it is 18 count Ada in the colorway navy. So I intended this to be some Christmas ornaments. So I have a couple patterns that are stitched in white primarily, and so it'd be like I think one of them is like a reindeer with snowflakes around it, and it's all white on a navy background. So that is why I purchased this, but I probably have a lot more fabric here than would be needed for a couple of those ornaments. So yeah, definitely gonna have some leftovers in this navy 18 count Ada. So next up, I have a fat quarter of Fiber on a Whim's Affogato colorway. This is 32 count Belfast linen. I'll open it up and show you, but it's just a pretty standard neutral colorway. And yeah, got a fat quarter of that. So I bought this when I got my my other fat quarter of Fiber on a Whim, the 16 count Ada that I am stitching my turtle and my Countdown Sal on. The intention for this piece of fabric was to stitch some of these Country Cottage Needleworks gingerbread houses. And so I'm certainly going to still do that. I don't know if that'll be this year or not anymore. I had intended to start these, but that's when I assumed that my turtle was going to be done a little bit sooner than it probably will be. So I might start this still, one of them, when my turtle is done, or like far enough along that I'm comfortable starting something new. So we'll see. But then again, after these gingerbread houses are done, I might have enough room on this fabric to start stitching something else. So yeah, that's another piece of fabric that I have. So the next piece of fabric that I have is a beautiful piece of hand-dyed linen from the Starlight Stitchery. This is from my divination stitch box. So I believe this is 32 count linen, and it's a really beautiful, very dark linen. So no idea what I'm going to stitch on this, but yeah, it's a really beautiful piece of fabric, so I'm glad to have it. Relatively small piece, so yeah, we'll see what I can find to stitch on that. But yeah, I'm sure it'll be fun to stitch on. All right, so next I have this huge piece of 18 count black Aida. This I just ordered from Amazon. It's 59 by 38 inches. It's just a huge piece of black Aida. So I have more black Aida than I will ever need. I don't particularly like stitching on black Aida or black fabrics, but I do like how it looks in the end. If you've been watching my floss tubes since the beginning, you'll know that I purchased that fabric to stitch a bunch of space-themed images based on the Twilight Imperium board game on them. So I've got the Nebula tile started, and I actually started the Supernova a while ago as well. I don't think I've ever shown that because I kind of decided that the chart that I had generated for that Supernova, I wasn't really liking it. So I don't know if I'll keep going with that one or not, or start like a new version of it. Anyways, the idea is to have like a bunch of those anomalies stitched, and to frame them each individually and then hang them together somewhere. So Twilight Imperium is a board game that I'm quite fond of, so, and Neil as well. So yeah, it would look cool somewhere in our house, hopefully. But I definitely have lots of extra black Aida for various whatever other things. All right, so the rest of what I have is a little bit scrappy. This is just a piece of oatmeal, probably 16 count Aida. Flip out of here and see approximately how big this piece is. It's kind of rolled up. And I know that I've used part of this roll already, so okay, here we go. It's about this wide and that long. So definitely lots of room for some stitching on here, but that'll just be, there's nothing planned specifically for this, but it's a nice little piece of oatmeal Aida. Technically part of my stash. And similarly, I have this roll of even weave. So this is a 28 count Irish linen needlework fabric, tea dyed, it says. It's by DMC. So yeah, it's an even weave, and I don't know if I've used part of this or not. I'll have to measure it to find out. It's the original piece was 20 by 24 inches. So it's just a nice neutral sort of even weave fabric that will work for a lot of purposes. It's probably why I bought it, just because it's like a good sort of workhorse fabric. So that's actually it for my fabric stash. So that might not seem super impressive, depending on the size of your own personal fabric stash. but that's what I currently have, and that's what I currently have to work with. So the idea will be, with respect to purchasing more fabric, that I would not purchase more fabric while I still have this stash. So if I work my way through the stuff that I have and I don't have any more cross stitch fabric, then I would allow myself to purchase more. And you know, I might make exceptions for particular cases if there is something that I need or need to stitch, and I don't have a suitable piece of fabric for that, then maybe I will make a judgment call and purchase something. But the idea will be to try to avoid doing that as much as possible. So yes, thank you for hanging out with me and looking at my modest fabric stash with me. I'm going to log this somehow, like create a spreadsheet or something to keep track of what I have. Yeah, hopefully that'll help me sort of be mindful about new starts and new purchases. Right, so I think that's about it. Yeah, like I said, today was a day off, and I spent a lot of it stitching. I was catching up on and watching some of the Jingle Ball playlist. There was like a playlist of videos for the main haul of the ball that are still available for a short period of time, and I didn't really get a chance to watch them while the ball was going because I spent a lot of time in the Q&As. So I've been sort of, whenever I can, spending some of my stitchy time watching those, which is a lot of fun. And yeah, I've also been watching Jer X Stitches, Geraldine, who is also doing the holiday countdown Sal, and so that has been really fun to watch her do Vlogmas just like me and follow along with her doing the same Sal. And so yeah, really enjoying her videos. So if you like that Sal and you like watching my videos, then maybe I would recommend checking her out. She's also doing this gnome knit along, which is fascinating. I've never seen before, and she shows off some of the other gnomes that she's knit, and they are very cute, and I'm finding that really fun to watch as well. So check her out if you don't know about her channel already. All right, so that's it for today. We'll see you again tomorrow. Happy stitching, happy crafting, and happy holidays. Bye-bye.